Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Netters Network Thursday Things. Now, before we get to our special guest, let me introduce my special husband.
I'm special, all right.
You know him as Carton the Klingon Cleric, that guy at the end of the bar, Friday Night Last Call, and Troy Pacelli, the love of my life. Troy, how you doing tonight, sweetie, and what are you sipping on?
When you're calling me the love of your life, how could I be anything but awesome? I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me here. I'm drinking a blackberry lemonade, sparkling water. Trying to hydrate. I'm really thirsty today for some reason.
It's really, really hot here. We're in Illinois, and it's 90 degrees here. And even though the sun has gone down, it's pitch dark outside now, it's still 90 degrees according to my computer.
And I know there's people that are here that are from southern climes that are, experiencing this kind of weather like in the middle of winter time. But, for us, it's kind of hot. And, we literally go from 40 and 50 degrees all week, to suddenly over 90. And it's like, there's no spring and fall where we live.
Well, I figured the Southerners who are used to this are going, you wimps.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Right.
Whereas when they have to deal with snow, we're like, yeah, wimps.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't want to keep our special guest waiting too much longer.
Yep.
This amazing guest as the author of Blood Witch. Now, this is my copy. You can get your own. In fact, you might even win one tonight. Let me bring on my special guest, Adega Outlaw. How are you doing tonight, sweetie? And what are you sipping on?
Hello. It's water.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Earlier.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's like I've been drinking a lot of water since Troy got me off of drinking sodas. So it's like one of those things where you kind of had to be weaned off the sodas. So I have one less, then one less. And I never drank a lot of soda to begin with. So it wasn't that difficult, but I'm finding I'm drinking more and more water because it's healthier for you too,
Yeah.
And then I did talk about the other book I have of yours, Evolution.
Yeah, got the old one. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, I got the old school books.
No, thank you. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys, whether in the chat or Troy had me on once, so this is fun.
Yeah, you were just on last year, absolutely. So, we're going to probably be covering a lot of the same stuff just because, possibly different audience, but that's a good thing. And I said this when you were on before, I do a lot of complaining about entertainment these days. So I definitely try to share with people, you know what, I don't hate everything. There's people out there that are creating, that are doing the entertaining and storytelling that we all naturally love, but they're just not doing it in the usual publishing and studio system, and therefore, it really requires us, it's incumbent on us to share it out, otherwise people wouldn't know,
Exactly. Now, Adega, we all want to know, how did you start writing books? Well, actually, before we go into that, let me say hello to the chat.
Yeah, get everyone in here.
I did that one stream. I totally forgot about saying hello to my chat. So let's say hello to the chat, and then I'd like to know, how you got started with writing books, like what kind of entered your head, I want to write a book, and then you did it. So let me really quickly say hello to my chat. Whoop, I just dropped my earplug. So I had two really eager people on hours ago. Connie Cleary was the first one in, saying hello, evening everyone, and then Leah Rose saying hello Netter, hello Adega, and hello Connie. Then there was that last call guy saying, let's hear for the early birds.
Right.
Let's see, who do we have after that? Well, then it's me saying hi to people. Then we have the lovely Lady Mist with my little blue hearts that she's given
awesome.
me.
Absolutely.
I have Jerry Lahane, which I didn't do a hi sweetie in my chat for, so I need to do that. Because I always drop my hi sweeties in the chat as well as saying hello this way. So how you doing, Jerry? And Jerry's going to be a guest on my show in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Cool.
So let's see. Got Connie, and I know I saw other people's. Scrolling. Metanui, how you doing, sweetie? Gorilla's Random Thoughts.
Gorilla's Random Thoughts specifically said he wants to hear my hapla. So, hapla is nuknach.
Yeah.
Ooh, that one's practiced.
Oh yeah.
Well, what's the other one? Nuknak Yuchtapul.
Yep. Where is the chocolate?
Hey, it's every Klingon's favorite line.
Absolutely.
There you go.
We also have Evelyn Hampton. How you doing tonight, sweetie? I know I saw some other people's. Final Fantasy fan 012. How you doing tonight, sweetie? And I gotta drop your hi, sweetie, printed in here.
And did you
tonight's
say
about
hi to
printed
Big
work.
Al?
I didn't get there yet, but
Troy complains. No.
yes, Big Al. How you doing, sweetie? I think.
I'll tell you what. Big Al is probably the biggest influence on my trying to be positive whenever possible. He is a much more positive person than I am, and very inspirational.
Final Fantasy said chocolate? Question mark. Chocolate? Question mark! Exclamation point. Chocolate! Lots of exclamation points.
Yes, exactly.
So I think I've got everybody in the chat. If I missed you, I apologize. But hi, sweetie. How you doing? Now, Adega, how did you get started in this wonderful process? I love books, so having an author to speak to is like my favorite thing.
Well, you said how it first went through my mind. It was my wife's hand upside my head.
Well, better a hand than a frying pan.
No, I had to retire. We know everybody here in chat. You guys know my story pretty much. But I got sick, had to retire. Couldn't do a lot around the house, because of physical limitations. And
Sure.
I had ideas in my head for a while for the main one. You showed the evolution. And my wife said, do something. So I did. And then people liked it. So I just kept doing it. And here we are. Very fortunate. Very fortunate.
Yeah, I started reading Blood Witch, and I'm not that far into it, but right now I'm loving it, and I can't wait to get further into it.
Cool.
And so, how long ago was this? Evolution was the first one, right?
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's been a while.
And there's been multiple
7, 8
printings
years ago,
of these books too.
Yeah. The original, the first release of Evolution was done through a publishing company, and that was really cool. For one aspect is they had editors that were nice. They weren't trying to rewrite things.
Yeah.
They worked the layout, did all the fun stuff. And they also took it to book shows, conventions, publicized it. So I got pretty dang good ratings on the thing. I mean, a lot better than I ever thought. You look at the Amazon ratings for most books, and they're 800, 900,000. Some get up to 1 million plus. At one point, when I had the publishing company, it dropped down to 49 on the Amazon list. But as soon as I left them, everything changed. They don't like individual publishing. They don't like people who own their own copyrights. So it kind of gets hid. People are always saying, "Well, where is it at?" But it's there, and it's also Barnes and Noble. So, but that's that. That's Evolution started. I think I don't know. It may be on. Oh, geez. Do I have a copyright date on that? Because it would be shortly after that.
Oh, let's see.
2018.
I was going to say, Jerry said it's better than mine, sweetie. Look for a date.
That was 2018. I think that was the second copyright date for that.
Yep.
Is that what you're saying, sweetie?
I was just jumping real quick to Amazon to see if I could see a date there, and I'm not. Wait a minute. Here's the information. The ISBN. No, it doesn't show a date here.
Yeah, no, They're weird how they do that. They hide things.
Okay, if I actually physically pick up the book, like like I should have in the first place, copyright 2019.
Okay, see, I have it earlier than that, mine. So it must have been the publishing company. They redid it because they put their touches on it, but I still own the copyright to it. So it's the Library of Congress is it's where you put your copyrights. They're pretty loose about things. If you get into trouble with a big company, they'll stick by you, but you can send in a copyright over just about anything at any time and update it at any time. So that's all they did. But I have it in the safe. I keep all of mine from Library of Congress. It's 218.
There you go. There you go.
So now, how many books do you have currently?
That are available to get 6.
Okay, and you can get them all on Amazon?
Amazon, you can get 5 of them, and you can get... where the problem is I'm not pestering my artist too much. She's hard at work doing other things, so it's hard for her to keep up. So the Organza Witches is not on Amazon, but it is at Barnes & Noble. And the hardcovers are at Barnes & Noble, where they're only the Blood Witch is hardcover at Amazon. And it's interesting, too. I have them as different sizes. I like Barnes & Noble overall better, but I showed you the artwork. I could show you in the books.
Please.
Each one I try and put some fan art in. Like this one, you guys probably know George Peter Getsis. He did this live on one of his shows. And this is how it looks in this book. In Amazon, you'll see the color, and it's a little larger, fits the page better. Each one in Barnes & Noble, for some reason, they shrink them. But when you get them from Barnes & Noble, they're nice. The quality of the book is held. Where I've seen a ton of pictures where people will get them from Amazon, and Amazon just throws them in a box, doesn't put any packing. They get moisture on them, and the covers will warp a little bit. So there's nothing I can do about it. That's just how Amazon is. Some people returned them and got a little better quality, but that's just the way they are. They figure they can just throw them out, and I'm not tied with anybody, so they not as concerned about it. They like to have
shame.
Yeah, it's just how it is.
So now, I'd like to know kind of like your thought process. Do you come with your characters first and then the story, or you come with the story and then make up a character to kind of fit into wherever?
Tertiary characters, I do that, but the story usually hits boom and everything. As soon as I come up with the idea, the whole story's there. I don't know why.
That's wonderful.
I had a slight chat conversation once about this. It was on Script Doctor's channel, and he says it's very rare. He said he had it happen to him once, but it happens to me every time. And he said to consider myself lucky, so I feel very fortunate, very blessed that that's the way it works, because I don't need to outline the story. Once it's in my head, it's in my head. But again, tertiary characters are more like what you would think. I put someone in a setting, there has to be another character, and then I pull in from history of people that I've known and then adapt their personality to fit the new character. So everyone that's in there reacts the way a real human would, because they're based on real people in any of the stories.
I like that because it's more relatable that way.
I think so, and that's what I've heard from other people as well. People don't go and do stuff that would be something that would leave you going, why in the world would someone even think that way? I don't have any real deranged people, unless it's in Blood Witch stuff. There are a couple of really deranged people, and any of you would know, if you're dealing with someone who's psychotic or antisocial, their behaviors don't fit with what you would expect to be normal. The cops have to face this every day. And they come up with somebody who's aggressive, carrying a weapon or something. Their reaction has to be super guarded, because they're going to respond in ways that you would never expect a normal person to do.
Oh, exactly.
But I just try and make characters match what you would see, but of course it's set in sci-fi or fantasy.
Cool.
It's fun.
Now,
I enjoy it.
I'm sure you have your favorite book of the ones you've written. So which one is your favorite?
I don't.
I was going to say, that seems unfair. It's kind of like, which is your favorite child?
Well, sometimes it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, you know, this is the one that, you know, was really my passion project, da 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 da. You know, some authors have that.
I would ask... Oh, go ahead.
No, I have favorite characters, but not books. Because it's there with the sci-fi stuff. It is one story. Mm-hmm. It's broken down into novellas or short novels. But overall, it is just one continuing story. And each book ends, except for Revolution, it's left kind of open on a cliffhanger. It's the only one I've ever done that with. But they're all tied together. I can't say, and I can't pick a Blood Witch universe over the Evolution universe. It doesn't. But with characters, I think it's because I've known the people that are represented, and I admired them so much that it comes through.
I guess then that this one might be a equally challenging question. Of your books, did you find one to be a little bit harder to suss out? But maybe not, because you were talking about how it just kind of jumps whole cloth into your mind. But did you ever find one to be more challenging than another?
Not the books. Me, yes. Not the books. Okay. Sometimes when I feel really rough or distracted, I just don't get to sit down and write and let things flow. But no, I haven't had that. Again, like I said, I feel very, very fortunate. I'm an oddball. It doesn't happen. Like R.R. Martin.
Yeah.
No, he would. You would never be missing the last book. If I was
there you go. I like to hear that. That's for sure. You finish what you start, right?
I do. Yeah, I do my best to finish what I start. So.
Yeah, it's like I think you're the only author I've spoken to where you know immediately what you're going to have in your book. You know the characters, the plot. I mean, everything, where it's going to go, like right off the bat, like it said. Usually it's like, yeah, I kind of know where I'm going with this, and I'm still trying to figure out, you know, how I'm going to make these other things fit, and if it's a murder mystery, so who am I going to make the murderer, and how is that murder going to happen, and that sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, no.
Whatever it may be, it's a lot harder for a lot of authors to kind of suss out the story, but you've got it in your head, you know exactly what you want to say, and you get down on paper. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's a blessing. I feel very fortunate. I go to some of these writing channels on YouTube, and there'll be all kinds of people that claim to be authors, and to one degree, or you know, they aren't. It just whether or not they have an audience for what they're trying to do, and most of them, I should say 98% of them, are trying to retell a story, and they'll tell you that they're retelling the story. So interest
updated for modern audiences.
Yeah, interest level for most people is minimal, except for that group. You know, they like to support each other, and I don't blame them. That's kind of fun, and they accept me in there because hang out in the background, listen to what they're doing, some of the connections that they have. And for them, it's just like you said, they have to suss things out. They have to work through it. And I hear them struggling about those things. And it just, I feel for them, but I haven't been there. And so
that is quite fortunate.
One thing I've enjoyed a great deal about your stories is you have a unique voice. I oftentimes will read somebody and go, oh, this person is very much like this other author, and so forth. You definitely have your own voice, but I have to assume that you're a reader too. You do have some influences. Who are some of your favorite authors?
Sci-fi, and a lot of people know this already, Ian Douglas.
Okay.
I could tell you who people say I sound like or write like, but it's too flattering for me to believe, so I don't bring it up.
We still want to hear it. Who is it?
I have been compared because of, like with the Blood Witch, it covers a millennia upon millennia. The details are somewhat in there over thousands of years. And the stories of how this family, the Schroeder family, but it's Trodaire in the past, they're all sussed out. And someone would say, well, that's kind of like Frank Herbert, where you have the details of all the different aspects of that universe. But I do everything in shorthand because I don't know when I'm not going to be able to write anymore. And so I just try and get it out as quick as I can. If I spent the time and really focused, I could make things bigger and more sussed out. But a lot of people say that's not the way I should do it. It's like what you were saying, Troy. It's my voice, and a lot of people like the way I do it. But again, I feel like I'm doing it shorthand.
I think that there's a perception among, I'm not even going to say people that are really into reading and into fiction. I think there's just a general audience out there that sees someone like you said, Herbert, Tolkien, even Martin, right, who are great at world building. Okay, and they ascribe that as though it was a style of writing. And honestly, I don't think it is. I think that's a separate talent that is important, but it's different. It's as different for every writer as any other aspect of writing. I think that if you create a world, yes, you have to do world building. If you are writing in a more contemporary setting, there is some world building that goes into it, specifically related to your characters, but you're writing in a world that everyone's already familiar with,
Yeah, and that's where I have two problems. One, I write my worlds to match the story, except for, in both of these universes, I got 4 universes. We won't talk about the Reach, but the 2 universes, I just finished one where, you've heard of a book Bible?
Yeah.
Or story Bible where you can go
Sure.
and reference everything. People, and when I was working with a couple different publishing companies, they said, this is, you have to have a book Bible. And when I pulled away and said, no, I'm going to do this on my own, I decided I am not going to do a book Bible per se. I am going to make a story book Bible. If you read the story, you will know the universe. It may be set in one part of the universe, but you will know everything that's there. Like the one I just finished on YouTube was Blood Witch History Andros. And it tells about their holidays. It tells about what they drink. It tells about the different locations, a lot of the history, but it's done in a story. So you can, Lady Mist has listened to the whole thing. She can tell you if she liked it or not. But it's, I would prefer to do it that way instead of someone going through a reference book. Be entertained by the history instead of having to reference things. And then I have the one for the Revolution universe, but I just haven't released it. I think I released one last night, one of the chapters, but it goes all the way through. I'm just being pretty picky about that one. And then there was the Reach, which is totally separate from that, and I've got the artwork pretty much done for that. I just gotta get a few more things done, and that one will be released, but it's completely different than the other 2.
Cool.
Jerry Lahane says, shorthand resonates with me, visual swatches, snippets, jotting down chaotic, fleeting images sometimes, dream catching. I know that in my writing, a lot of times, I don't have I don't have the blessing that you do. In fact, I'm sure most people would say this, that idea of it all just coming free form, fully formed into your mind. I start out sometimes with scenes, as if I was watching a movie, and then build the story around that. Do you ever find yourself doing anything like that, or that's just not your way of looking at it?
Not really. I've done a couple of three outlines. One was when I was working with the last publishing company. The owner, there is a husband and wife team, and fantastic people. Their editors were horrible. Those are the ones I had problems with. But they know about my health situation, and she was worried, and I told them about the book series. And so I gave her the outline for the final book. So if anything ever does happen to me, she has kind of an idea of my voice and would be able to conclude it for everybody, whether or not it's exactly how I want it. I'm going to try and get to it. But outline, the other two were for poems because I'm absolutely horrible with poems, and I have to outline them and work on them, and I don't have a certain rhyme or rhythm. But I have done that. So doing a scene per se where this has to happen, the way I look at it more, and it all, like I said, it's all in my head, is my characters are now set with this trouble, this part to conquer, and this is how it conquers, so let's put their voice in it.
Yeah.
I guess that's how it goes. That's just how it works for me. I don't know.
It's speaking of Adega's voice, Troy has been dropping the links to Adega's books. Make sure you go check them out. Purchase lots of copies. Yep. They're really good.
Thank you very much.
And speaking of copies, which book are you going to be offering to one lucky winner tonight?
Whoever wins, they can pick.
Oh,
and I'll ship it to them. I'll sign it and ship it to them.
So we need a word that I could have everyone put in the chat so that when I run the wheel of prizes, it'll pick up just that keyword, and those people who have that keyword, and they will be entered into the drawing. So what's a good keyword? I don't want to say Adega because I think people have been saying hello to you, so that means...
Right. How about Edric? Because there's no one in there, and Edric's the lead character of Evolution Universe. Well, one of them. Him and his mother.
Okay. Now make sure everyone spells it right. Spell it for us, and I'll actually put it in the chat too. E-D?
Rick. R-I-C-K.
Okay. So, Ed Rick. If you are interested, and I know y'all are, in getting one of Adega's books, winning that... excuse me, my allergies are acting up, so it's like I'm coughing, I'm trying to clear my throat. Excuse me. So if you would like to win one of Adega's books, put the word Edric in the chat.
Spell
and
that
I'll
again.
Be doing I'll be doing
a drawing. R-I-C-K.
Yeah, just do what Big Al did.
Yes,
and Lady missed.
Yeah, no, I'll have no problem at all signing one and sending it off.
That's awesome.
Feel honored.
Yes. So I just put it in caps. So it's like, just make sure, there it is. Now, of course, the other question we want to ask, because I've been holding on to this question for a couple of weeks now. How did you make Patricia Tallman cry?
Yes! I've been wanting to know!
You can actually go and listen to it. You're going to have to go and hunt for it, though. I think it's still there. It was kind of a tag team, though. I was on Fat Steven Seagal's channel, and we were doing some Babylon 5 review stuff, because that's my favorite sci-fi series. Real close is Dark Matter, and then a few others afterwards. I got to be friends with Joe Malazzi because of Dark Matter, but we had her on as a guest, and she came on 2 times, but I think it was the first time that she was on. Again, you go to his channel and look it up, and we were sitting there talking, and I know that being around enough artists, performers, I used to play saxophone professionally. I still have my old mouthpiece. I know that there is a ton of emotion involved in it. And she had offhand said something about stage, and she loved to act on stage, so we started bringing it up. I brought it up, started feeding on it. Fat Steven had another guest, I can't remember her name, and she played off of that. And it brought out so much emotion in her because she loves doing theater so much. She was crying about it, and how much she missed it and how much she needed to get back into it. It was really, really cool to see. That's when you can tell someone really has a passion for something. And she certainly does. Everyone thinks of her, well, she's Lita, or other people think, well, she was a bit part in Star Trek, Star Trek, and then there was her stunt woman activities, because that's how she started off, as a stunt woman. But you want to see her heart open up and start talking about her stage work, and wow. It was amazing. So it wasn't anything malicious or evil. It was just her being open about what she really loves.
That sounds sweet, though. Yeah, But I'll tell you what, you know how to hook somebody by dropping a stinger. Netter's been holding on to that question for weeks now. I just dropped the link to Fat Stevens. I'm assuming it was the Babylon 5 Season 2, Episode 17 and 18 with Patricia Tallman.
Well, yeah, we had her on twice, so I think it's that one.
I'm pretty sure it was. I saw the sniffle.
Okay.
The sniffle?
Yep. She's super. She's super. She really is.
It's like Troy told me, write down that question. We have to make sure we ask Adega when he comes on. And I'm thinking, okay, were they just like teasing her and it made her cry? Or did they bring up a sad story and it made her cry?
Nope, they touched her heart.
Talking about what she loved.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That is awesome.
That is amazing.
Oh, yeah, Babylon 5 is a great show. Honestly, I am scared to death that they're going to do something else with it, that they're going to reboot it or they're going to remake it or something, and that's what they're talking about
what's
doing.
Going on, right?
I haven't heard the latest. I knew that it was in process. Now I think there's an animated feature that they're working on.
It's an animated movie. It's about Sheridan and his excursions, and it's all tied in and related to that universe. I think it has something to do with time travel, a few other things. I don't know all of the details.
Okay, that actually sounds interesting because I had heard that they were going to completely reboot, remake it, and I'm like, no, don't.
Not the animated. The series is a little different. Now, I'm sure, well, maybe not. But what had happened, the original actor, who was Sinclair, Jeffrey Sinclair, that actor got sick. He had a nervous breakdown. They had to remove him from the show. So J. Michael had to rewrite his story to match for the new actor, Boxleitner.
Right.
And so it is not the story that he wanted, although everyone loves it. This time he wants to go back and do the story he wanted. So
see, I get that, but that seems so George Lucas to me. Sometimes I think the best stories are the result of serendipity. I felt that Babylon 5 was awesome. I didn't know until afterwards that wasn't part of the plan, and I'm like, well, it still turned out great, you know?
It did.
But I mean, let's face it, I was never really a big fan of Mr. Melissa Gilbert, but he was a decent captain when he took over, so there you go.
Yeah, it's like how many times do you find out that a totally ad-lib line, it was like the best line of the whole movie?
Oh yeah, people talk about that in trivia all the time.
Yeah, like It's a Wonderful Life, when
Uncle Billy goes off. I almost said off stage because all those films are filmed as though they're stage production. He goes off camera, and you hear smash, crash, boom because a stagehand dropped a bunch of film canisters, and he just improvs. I'm all right, like he fell into a bunch of garbage cans, and they kept filming, and sometimes that.
There was a lot of that on the B5. I'm a big fan of it. I've got books. I have all kinds of things about it. The original, this and that and the other. That gives timelines. It gives writer notes, all kinds of stuff. And I have all the ancillary books that came out to tell the story. But one of the nice things about the show was some of the really cool things about it that you would never guess were totally ad-libbed. Andrew, the guy who played Jakar, there's a couple of songs that were in
Andreas Katsoulis.
Yes, he made those on the fly, and they kept him in. He was just singing as part of his thing. There was one scene in the first season where Londo Mollari threw a party for everybody. He was drunk as a skunk and starts crawling on the table. Says, "You remember the scene?" No, he's going, "You're very cute for a Minbari. You're cute too. You're all cute." But in purple, no, it goes, "I'm cute too, but in purple, I'm stunning." That was all ad-libbed. And they
wow, yeah. Peter Jurasik is, I can imagine that about him. The time I met him in person, he was so warm, so affable, and he just had that spontaneity about him. Real quick, I don't want to Shanghai the show, but I want to share this story. So we're at an autograph signing with all these different Babylon 5, actors, and I got to Peter Jurasik. We were told we were not allowed to do any photography with them. So, okay, fine. If that's the rule, that's the rule. I got to him, and I'm like, Mr. Jurasik, I'm a fan. I said, obviously I'm a fan of Babylon 5. I'm here at this convention. But, I was a fan of yours, on Hill Street Blues. And he's, looks up with this warm, he's like, that is really great to hear. People don't recognize me anymore from that. I'm like, that's TV audiences, what can you say? He goes, absolutely. He says, you want a picture with me? I'm like, we were told we can't. He goes, I'm the star. I can do whatever I want. He gets up and he pushes the tables. Everyone looking down the line is like, what are you doing, Peter? He's like, I'm getting a picture with my friend here. Come here. And he goes,
now, that same convention.
Yeah.
Troy was ahead of me. I'm right behind him. I've got a handful of pictures for the actors to sign.
Oh, yeah, this was good, too.
And
Mira Furlan is and she was so beautiful. Well, she really was.
I give Peter his picture.
Yeah.
He signs it, and we're making small talk. I forget who was sitting next to him. The younger Minbari fellow was sitting next to him.
Bill Mummy. Yeah.
Bill Mummy was sitting next to him, and then what's her name? Mira
Furlan. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got pictures of two different women in my hand. And I'm looking at pictures. I'm looking at her. I'm looking at pictures. I'm like, I'm sorry, can you pick yours? I don't recognize you with hair.
She starts laughing. And Peter turns and he's like, what just happened? And we had to recount it. He starts laughing.
He almost fell on the floor. He was laughing so
He's
hard.
like, that is brilliant.
Because at that point, the only episodes I had seen, she was bald.
Yeah, she'd only seen like the first season or so at that point. And I'm going, oh gosh, this is great.
Hey, your ears aren't on the bottom of your neck. I can't tell.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, because the pictures, both women were very striking, beautiful, and I'm like, can you pick which one is you? Because I don't recognize you with hair.
And Jerry Lane makes an excellent point. Deep Space Nine plus Babylon 5 equals 9 to 5. Very, very good. I never thought of it that way before. Anyway, let's get back to our guest. Get off of Babylon 5.
Fun.
I know, right?
That's awesome.
I want everyone to make sure that we are going to be having a drawing in a little bit, so make sure you put Edric in the comments if you want to get a copy of Adega's book. You get to choose which one when you are chosen the winner. And of course, I got my name in there only because I was spelling out Edric in capital letters for everybody. So if I win, I'll just respin.
Yeah, I'm only seeing 11 people watching, so you probably have a really good chance if you're at all interested.
Yeah, it's like if you are a big reader like I am, you want to get in on this. As I've only started reading Blood Witch, and I'm in love with this book. So I'm telling you, it's really awesome.
I have no idea what's coming.
Yeah, no. and I encourage you to check out his channel. He's got a great deal of primer there. That is worth checking out. Yeah.
I mean, our close friends know that I actually started reading when I was 4 years old.
Yep.
And I wasn't reading Dick and Jane. I was reading The Hobbit.
Yep.
And it was one of those things where my brother told me the story because he was reading the book. I was like, what's that book about? And he told me what The Hobbit was about. And I'm like, I want to read that. He goes, yeah, sure, kid. And he finished reading the book and he put it back onto we had all these bookcases in our dining room. He puts it back. He walks away. I take the book out. I sit on the floor. I open up, and I started reading. And my mom's like, "Oh, honey, that's so cute, but there's no pictures in that book." I'm like, "I'm not looking for pictures, Mom. I'm reading." She goes, "Oh, that's so cute." And then I started reading out loud, and she's like, "You're 4, and you're reading The Hobbit." And it's like, I don't know how. I just knew the words. I mean, there were a couple of bigger ones I would stumble over and go, "I don't know how to say this word," or "What does this word mean?" But for the most part, I was reading. J.R. Tolkien, I started with those books, read all those, and then I just started going onto all of the different shelves we had, taking book here, book there, and just reading. And I fell in love with reading at an early age. So it's like, if I tell you, make sure I don't have it upside down, Blood Witch is a great book, you want to get this book. I am in love with this book.
It looks like this now.
Yeah. He's got a
hard.
different, he's got a hardcover one. So let's
that's
see.
awesome. I started off when I was 7, but I read the Old Testament and the encyclopedia, so nothing fun.
The encyclopedia.
I did.
It's funny. I'm only laughing because I remember when I was really young, I was in grade school, my mom started getting the subscription, because back then, this was before the internet.
Yeah.
If you wanted to have the encyclopedia, you had to buy it book by book. Yep. And for me, it was the Funkin' Wagnalls.
Yes.
We got the Funkin' Wagnalls, and I did the exact same thing. I was reading through. In fact, there was a medical reference guide that I read that came with it, and a couple other things. So yeah,
I grew up with those. They were very helpful for book reports.
Yeah. Now we got Wikipedia.
And then there were the what they call Cliff Notes. So if you didn't want to read a book, you could just do the Cliff Notes.
I gotta say, for all the grief about Cliff's Notes, I do find that of course, there's no substitute for reading the original, but sometimes reading some scholarly notes on a book can oftentimes give insights you would have missed and not thought of yourself. So, I think that's a good thing too.
I read the Cliff Notes for Mark Twain, and I felt like I robbed myself, but you know what? I got that part of the class done, and then we had Great Expectations. I said, I'm not doing that again. I felt like I robbed myself, and that's when I fell in love with Charles Dickens. My favorite. It was off of that book.
Yeah, there's only one book I recall reading where I absolutely could not get through it, and my mom, bless her heart, read the book for me to tell me everything it was about, because I just couldn't. And that was The Scarlet Letter.
Oh, Scarlet. See, and
that was the hardest book I ever read.
That is a great example of a book that is worthwhile to grab the Cliff Notes for, especially because sometimes when you're dealing with archaic language, when you're dealing with history, sometimes you're not going to necessarily get that context unless you read something extraneous.
I mean, I knew what they were inferring, but I just couldn't read it. It was just too much. And it's like, and my mom saw me struggling. She's like, "What's the problem?" I'm like, "I just can't get into this book. I'm having a real hard time reading through this." And I think I got to like the second or third chapter, and I'm like, I have to write a book report on this, and I just can't. I can't. And she's like, "Well, give me the book. I'll read it." And I'm like, "You don't want to read this." She goes, "Give me the book." So she ended up reading it, and like I said, she told me more about what it was about. Because, I mean, I knew the Scarlet A was because she was an adulterer and all that. But it's like, okay, is there anything else that I need to know in this story? Because this is so hard to read. So she had given me, like the synopsis, the Cliff Notes version, because we couldn't find a Cliff Notes version of it. Otherwise, I would have just read that. And, like I said, my mom helped me get through that book. But that's the only one I ever struggled with, because I love to read. And it's like, yeah, that one, I just couldn't.
That really is I'm for lack of a better word, problem with literature, because stories speak to people differently. And there's this idea that certain books are supposed to be so universal that everyone should love them. They're lauded by the universities and literature departments, and it's like, well, is it really that good? And I see this especially when I look at Shakespeare. Not all Shakespeare plays are made equal. And sometimes the ones that people think are the greatest things, I'm like, yeah, this was one of his earlier ones, and you could definitely tell it's not as good as some of his later ones. An author, improves generally over time as he finds his voice. And I think if you look at some of Shakespeare's earlier plays as opposed to his later ones, you see, okay, I see what he was doing. He was younger, he was very rigid, he was following the form. He gets much more relaxed as he goes, But that's just my take on it. Someone else might see it completely different. So,
Absolutely. So I just put in the chat. Sorry.
I have the fan going. I can hear it buzzing. Can you guys hear it?
It's faint. I can hear it, but it's not bothering me.
I'll be right back. It only takes.
Okay.
So last chance.
Yep.
Put the keyword Edric in the chat. I actually have it in caps in there. If you want to win one of Adega's books, and when Adega comes back, we will have a drawing.
Evelyn said that World Book was elementary school. Funk and Wagnall was college. Britannica for her children. Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, this is your last chance. Put Edric in the chat. I am going to do the live
Are you going to
drawing.
bring it up?
Let's see. I forget how to do this. Was it present? Share screen. Yes, us old folks got to talk through things. Giveaway tool, share. So now here's my title of my show. I've got to put the keyword in. Helps me spell it right.
You got to spell it right.
Edric. I'm going to start collecting comments. It looks like we have quite a few people interested.
Awesome.
Well.
Okay. Yeah. And 3, 2, 1, draw.
Whee!
That is pretty cool.
Gorillas Random Thoughts!
Yes, there you go.
Well, I said if I win, I might redraw.
Okay, so Gorilla Random Thoughts, you're going to need to reach out to Adega, get him an address he can
or
send
you can
it to.
DM me,
and
I
we can get it to him. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
whatever's
because,
easiest.
I know you got my Twitter thing, so yeah, if you want to send me your address, and then I will get it to Adega.
And yeah, you're also going to have to let Adega know, which one you're looking for. You want Blood Witch, you want Evolution, you want.
Yeah, you a fan of sci-fi or fantasy, and then if it's sci-fi, Lady Mist, which one should they pick up first? I'll let her tell.
Yeah, what's your opinion?
She's heard just about everything that I've done. I haven't given her access to my last Evolution book, Doorways of Nora, but everything else she's heard.
Oh, he's wait, what? My luck ain't that good. Yeah, it is. At least it was tonight.
Tonight it is. Bonus.
Absolutely.
Good. Children of the Directive, she's saying.
Yeah, that's basically prologue for the entire Evolution. It's a story of a breakaway civilization from Earth. It could, you can see how it would actually be something from Earth. I tried to make it tie in with history a little bit, but it spans, it starts about, I'm trying to think, about 700 years from now, and it spans 320 years. One individual, it's part of evolution, they live longer. And it's one of the lead characters for the whole series. It's her story. But I've heard that a lot. A lot of people really like her story. So.
And see, you guys come to my channel, you win stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
In fact, I think I need, is it about 57 more to make 300? Once I hit my 300, you get more stuff.
Yep.
Every time I hit 100 milestone, I'm doing giveaways.
Yep.
And there's at least 3 prizes that will be given every single time. So get me to that 300, and
So make sure you're sharing out the stream.
Yeah, and the only reason I want to get to those milestones is so that I can reward you.
Yep.
Seriously. That's the only reason why I want to get up there. It's like, giving it 300, you get presents. You know?
Adega, let me ask you this. Do you have a web page, or is it just your Twitter and Facebook and all that?
There is a link if you go to Adega Outlaw, but that goes to, Springs?
Uh-huh.
They used to get the T-shirts and everything.
Sure.
But I had to take everything off. I got, there was a few things that were selling, but I got one of the T-shirts, and you could do everything you want to take care of it.
Uh-huh.
And the lettering and everything falls apart. So I said,
yeah,
no, I'm not going to sell
that was my experience too.
people.
Yeah.
So I pulled everything. I think you can get a mug there, but that's it. But other than that, no. I have a Facebook that I hardly ever use. I have an Instagram I hardly ever use. I'm on Twitter, but you know that because I'm always following your political tastes.
Yeah.
We agree on most things, not quite everything.
You know what? I think it would be boring if we agreed on everything.
Right.
I don't like ditto heads. I really don't.
And then YouTube. I have Rumble. I can't figure it out yet. For some reason, some of the things won't post. There's an Odyssey, which I don't like, and I posted.
Yeah, I don't either.
So I'm probably going to abandon that. But I'll probably shift everything to Rumble eventually. I'll keep the YouTube. And the reason why I do those is just so I can hear it. It's an editing thing for me. I write it down, I read it back, sounds great. Then when I read it out loud and listen to it, it means something different. So then that's my final editing, is I listen to that and then I will repair it from there. So when you hear stuff on YouTube, it doesn't necessarily mean that's exactly how it's going to be in the book, because I have issues with phrasing, where, and you'll see this in, and I hate to say it, please forgive me for saying this, but weaker authors will repeat words. You'll find similar things in the same paragraph where they've used the same word once or twice or three times. And I'm not talking but, I'm talking other things.
Especially with adjectives. If you're using the same adjective over and over and over again, right. It's very repetitive. And that's the kind of thing that sometimes it's helpful to have an editor catch for you. But you'll also catch it, if you're doing an audio recording like that. So that's a great way to do it too.
And then I know of at least one author that pretty much repeats the same book over and over, just changes the characters and character names.
Oh, you mean Stephen King?
I was thinking Dean Koontz.
Oh, Dean Koontz too. Yeah. Good point.
It's like I swear I have a whole bunch of Dean Koontz books. I picked up one, read it. It's like, okay, good story. Picked up another one. Started reading, going, did I just read this? It's like looking at the title, going, no, it's a completely different book.
Oh yeah. But
it was pretty much identical, except for the names of the characters. It's like,
I could never do that. I'd feel like I'm robbing people. I already feel like I'm robbing them as it is. I don't make any money off of it. I put it all in an account. My kids get it when they need emergencies. I haven't touched a dime of it.
I don't think they do it intentionally. I think they're writing on automatic, and so they do end up starting to write the same thing over and over again.
That could be. I don't know. But like
I guess that happens
picture.
when you lose the passion.
I guess, yeah. Or you don't finish a whole series that people had television series dependent upon.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like, and all he's got to do now is take the last season and write it.
Well, no, because it was actually so bad. I think it's very, very different from what he had intended.
Okay, we'll make it good, but he's pretty much got it all laid out for him already.
Yeah.
Hey, Fletcher Williams.
Yep. So what is the next project for you, Adega?
I started one on YouTube a couple weeks ago. It's 200 years before the Blood Witch. This is it's a Trodaire, not a Troder. They're still the same family, but it explains what happened with the name change, what happened with royalty, a few different things that'll tie up the loose ends so you understand that part of Nugent's verse better. And then again, there's the Doorways of Nor, which I'm still debating whether or not I want to release that. it's not because it's bad. It's just because it's the theme of it. I think is very much needed nowadays. But it's really, really
Topical?
no, I don't do that. It's almost religious.
Oh, okay.
You read it, you'll see there's morality in everything that I do and people
Sure.
struggling with it. Um, but this one is very high end about the extremes of self-sacrifice, and I'm not talking just giving yourself up for one thing or another. This is pretty deep stuff, and it's kind of personal, from various different experiences, not just me but other people, and um, it's I love the story. It's very very personal, and I don't know if I want it ever to come out. It's just something that I've been feeding people little bits and pieces. Um, but after the Blood Witch History Ellie, which I just started, and if you guys want a fantasy story, it comes. I do a chapter every week. You'll be able to listen. That's provided I feel well enough. Um, but after that is Blood Witch, Blood Witch Legends, which is set 2,000 years after the Blood Witch, and that's the last of that series. So I'll have all 5 books, and that's the thing about this. I don't know if you can quite see the binding. It just looks like squiggly lines in there. But
Yeah.
when you put all of the books together, it forms an image of a mage with her hand out casting magic.
Oh,
So when the
wow.
whole series
Cool.
together, and you put them in order, you'll have it all there. So that's the 5 books there, and then I got to finish up the Reach. Um, Again, I'll refer you to. 'Cause I love it when other people testify about what they think of my stuff, because I love floating my own ego. But Lady Miss could tell you, I've had several people tell me that it's the best thing that they've ever read or heard, is the Reach when it comes to books, or one of the best. And it's still on my channel. It's only going to be there for a very short time left. But that one, here, I'll show you. I had a fan that, let's see, edit avatar, had made fan art, and that's the image, part of the image. But in this one, like I said, I did 4 universes. The 2, Evolution and Revolution. This one is a dual universe. I originally thought I was going to make 2 books out of it, but I combined it into one, and it's a story of a guy, and you guys can relate to this, whatever it takes, whether you're out in nature and you listen. For me, it's music, and you can get into a meditative state, and you really can sense the world about you a lot more. But this guy in the beginning, he does that, and then he hears a voice just kind of ping him out of nowhere in that time when he's meditating with music, and it really affects him. And it was somebody else in a completely different universe where physics and everything is different that was doing the same thing, and they connected just for an instant. And the story is about them reaching back and forth, trying to communicate better, and how they get closer and closer through energy, thought, different things. And it explains those 2 different universes, how things are developing. And then the conclusion is kind of it's one of those surprise endings, so I don't want to get too much into it. But the other universe is a kind of a female. Again, the universe works totally different. I tried to paint a picture where people could relate, but it would be so foreign that you haven't seen it before. And their society is based on a unity through meditation and energies, and everything is done through light. They communicate with photophores, and yet for some reason she can communicate with someone on another universe who uses voices where we talk. Sorry about the noise in the background.
No worries.
And they go through some serious struggles and a lot of pains. But again, that's where I have had more compliments about that story, saying it's the best thing that they've ever read than any other. So that one is going to, hopefully I'll have it out before the year's over. You'll be able to copy that. One image I showed you will be the back with some text on it. The other image is my artist is doing it, and the one looks cartoonish. The other one will look CGI almost. So you could see like two different images, and they reach into the pages.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I know
Oh.
Victoria's going to be getting me for my birches, but he's going to be getting me that series, so I have it because he knows I like that sort of thing.
Wow. That one was something that I did totally different, and I think maybe that's why it did, because I didn't do it shorthand. I did it in a way, and you guys can relate to this. Everyone will understand, or you go to a lecture. Some people write notes and see what the lecturer is doing. Other people sit back and listen to pick it up. And other people, and this is a lot of the world now, especially the ones who are lost in, I'd say, woke philosophies or others. It's the emotion that catches them. And in this book, I tried to, as much as possible, sometimes even in the same sentence, hit all three, where it's doing something with the head or someone's thought process, something that they see, something that they hear, and something that they feel over and over and over and over again. It was a challenge. I worked at it, and again, I've been very flattered at the compliments I've gotten for that work. One of my technically family, but a beta reader, she said, and she's very well read, she started it and went 2 days and didn't sleep because she had to finish it. So
Wow.
yeah,
Nice.
I have fun. I enjoy it. But that's what's coming up.
Wow, nice.
Yep.
So everyone, you need to be on the lookout for that.
Yep.
And Troy had dropped the links earlier for Adega's books. Make sure you go and check those out.
Yep.
He also dropped the link to Adega's YouTube channel, so make sure you check that out.
Yeah, go to the
Really good stuff
playlist.
here.
Yeah, go to the playlist and listen to the reach. Don't look at the images because that other universe is so weird. I couldn't find pictures that matched except for one, and it was brilliant. And you'll know it when you get to it. But there is someone that I've connected with through his music in England. We've never met, but we've become friends. He's the channel co.ag. He does free music. His name's Alan, and he, for some reason, has tied into my creative energy and I into his. He will write some music and stuff just flows out of me from the music. I used to write poems on his channel, or not poems, but short stories on his channel, where he would write a song and it immediately came out and I'd write it down. Or I would write something and he would have music. Well, with the reach, it was like the third or fourth chapter. He just started feeding me this music, saying, this fits, I wrote this, do this. And so at the very end of that book on YouTube, the very last entry is all his music in one video, and you could just sit there and listen to everything he created, and you will not be disappointed. You have to listen to that. He's just amazing.
And if you people are like me, I usually have my personal laptop kind of to the side of me while I'm working on my work laptop because, gotta work. And I'll have just something playing in the background to kind of like listen out of the corner of my ear. Because I don't like a quiet room. I like to have something, music or something playing. So Lady Mistress dropped the link for the Reach Chapter 1 meditation. Start there and just listen while you're doing other work, And if you're not a work from home type person, like maybe you're just a stay at home person, you can just do it while you're doing other things, Like I will do that also, like while I'm cleaning the house. I'll put on something and just listen to it while I'm cleaning. It also helps the time go by faster, so you finish your chore quicker.
Yeah, but no, and if you do that, Netter, go to that music. You will not be disappointed. I cannot preach his praises enough. And someone asked me, if someone would approach me, because I have kind of connections. Like I said, I'm friends with Joe Malazzi, but there's other people. And I said, if anything ever comes to where one of my stories becomes a television or movie, or some people are pushing anime, he has to be part of the music. he has to be the major part of the music. I won't do it otherwise. He just has to be there.
That's amazing.
Well, when you hear him, you'll know why.
Absolutely. So now I got to check that out.
Yeah. Well, let me know too, please, and let him know.
Absolutely. So now, what do we have coming up for the rest of this week? So tomorrow night on Troy's channel, Friday Night Last Call. Who is your guest going to be, sweetheart?
No, it's just going to be the regular crew.
Yeah.
You and Aged Boomer and all you folks in the chat. It's going to be a Friday night free-for-all. I'm going to have a couple topics I'd like to talk about, but this is one of those times where you could absolutely influence me from the chat and direct the show. So whatever you want to talk about, it's probably what we'll be talking about.
And since Friday night...
That could be really interesting. I'll tell you what. I'll have to think about how I want to do that, but I'll tell people price of admission is the link below, and buy me a drink. And the more drinks I get, the more shots I'll take, and see how drunk you can get Troy.
So,
I love it.
Troy only has an alcoholic beverage on Friday nights.
But what an alcoholic beverage it'll be.
Yes. So you can probably even influence what he will drink.
Yeah, I never have done that. I should probably open it up to suggestions for future drinks. Absolutely.
I mean, he has the ones he tends towards.
Yeah.
So there's the brown mumbler. There's the was it Jameson and something?
Yeah, just Jameson on whiskey stones. Definitely martini. I should do that.
Now, with Joe Malazzi, when he was doing Dark Matter, they had a whiskey club. Every day they would have a different shot of whiskey at certain times. They tried all kinds of different ones from Asian, different where. One of their favorites, and I think it's like his number 1 or 2, was Author's Tears.
Oh.
So I'm going to say you're going to have to grab that one.
Interesting. Have to look into that.
We have a Binny's near us.
Oh yeah, I mean, my bar grows every time I try a new drink, and I go, oh, that's an ingredient that I don't have. Got to take a trip to Binny's. But
yeah, it's like I think they know our names now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, dangerous.
Don't know if that's good or bad. But yeah, that's tomorrow night. Saturday on Big Al Presents, that's 9 Central, 10 Eastern. We will be starting on his channel, James Garner June, with Support Your Local, I want to say Support Your Local Sheriff. In this month, we're doing both Support Your Local Sheriff and Support Your Local Gunfighter, and I forget which one comes first. I think it's Support Your Local Sheriff. But as usual with the rewatches on our channels, I will be hosting it on Cosme off platform, and the link will be provided so you can watch along with us. Just keep Big Al's stream open so you can hear our commentary and chitter chatter.
Absolutely. And then, of course, going over to Sunday,
we
start off with Deleted Scenes, everybody's favorite Blue Wrench. And, sweetheart, you usually have the details on that, so I'll let you talk more about that.
Deleted Scenes. What is your topic for tomorrow? I don't recall, but that will be 7 Central, 8 Eastern. That is unscripted on Deleted Scenes channel, which is the official lead-in to Aged Boomer's Geeky Geezers, where we bring you the week's geek news. Hopefully a good portion of them are things you may not have heard about on other channels just because they were interesting to us. And if we do bring you stuff you've seen on other channels, hopefully we're bringing you a different perspective. That will be on Sunday. Big Al said, it's Sheriff first. So this week, support your local sheriff.
And anything on Monday?
I don't know anything about Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Well, Thursday, right back here again. My special guest will be Connie Cleary.
Hi, Connie!
Hi, Connie! And so we're going to be having some interesting talks there. I do have her thumbnail up, so if you want to share it out, feel free to do so.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to that. And then, of course, that brings it back to Troy's next Friday. Which, do you have a guess for that one?
Of course I don't have it planned out. If I don't even have tomorrow night's planned out, I don't have next week's planned out.
Well, yeah, you might have just missed a week.
No. I'll figure it out.
It happens. But, yeah. So that is our week in review. So, Adega, any final thoughts?
No. Well, other than this is so fun.
Yeah.
Troy had me on, been on your you guys are wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I wish all the success in the world for this channel, because that's one thing that and a lot of us do this, I gravitate to where people are good to each other. And you don't see any of the flack in the chats. Everyone is really, really into each other here. Thank you for letting me be part of it.
Oh, thank you for being a part of it. We love having you.
We're not just, blowing smoke and whistling Dixie when we say that as we build community, we feel like we're building a family, because honestly, ever since the lockdowns and all that kind of stuff, and then Netter and I working from home and everything, this has become far more our social outlet, this online community. Big Al, I think, can relate to this too. Just not being able to, don't get around much anymore, right? So this is, and the other thing too is, and I've heard a lot of people that have moved to the YouTube sphere from more traditional, broadcast, saying what's really great is being able to interact directly with your audience. Not something you can do if you're on radio or television or whatever. So yeah, that's why I'm really enjoying this. And Age of Boomer, you know what happens when you're late? You miss out on the giveaway. So, sucks to be you, dude. But we did plug your show for Sunday, so
and there
at least
are
that
links,
happened.
And there are links to all of Adega's books in the chat. If you scroll up, you'll see those.
and so that was what I wanted to share.
And of course, we were talking about community.
Yep.
Make sure that you are subscribed to everybody in the chat and our special guest, of course. And if you think you are already subbed, please go back and double check, because YouTube likes to unsub us. If I had retained all the subs that YouTube has decided to take away from me, I'd probably be close to 400 subs now. Yeah. Because it's like I will gain 15 and then lose 8 overnight. And then the next day I'll lose like 5 more. And it's like, what the heck, So please make sure that you are subbed to everybody in the chat. Me, Troy, our special guest, Adega, because together we grow, like PJ always says. Yep. Together we grow. And of course, how I always end my streams, we can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well good and fun, and we have a great time doing it. But it's so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat. You're dropping comments, questions, trivia, you're being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by those miles and miles, or even continents in some cases. It feels like we're hanging out in the same room, enjoying each other's company, and having a great time. Yep. And I always say this, and I'm not just blowing smoke when I say this, you're not just our friends. You are our family. Adega, you're our family. Yep. That's why we enjoy having you guys around so much. You're our family. And in some cases,
so much an honor.
You're a better family to us than our actual families.
yeah. True.
But we love you guys, and we do appreciate you being here. You take a couple hours out of your day every week to be here. And we appreciate that so much, because you can be doing something else, but you choose to be here. Yeah. And that means so much. So thank you all. And I want to wish you now a very pleasant evening, and we will definitely see you next time.